So a relatively long time employer, Heather in particular, asked the question or posed the question, why did you and your brother start Rockaway? And it's funny that as soon as she asked that, I said, I don't know if anyone actually ever asked me that before. But in all trueness, not a day goes by in my life that I don't remind myself why we did start Rockaway. And I remember it really like it's yesterday. But looking back on it, if this is the 16th year that we've been doing Rockaway, or since its inception, it had to have been 18 years ago in Calabasas, California. I had the opportunity to sit next to a regional vice president at what was a business developer training or awards ceremony, which I was blessed to be a part of. It was for best performers at Valley Crest at the time, which is nationwide, the biggest company in America, and still is, depending on who you ask. At the time, they were the biggest. Second biggest was Brickman, and now they're combined for Brightview. But at any rate, I had a pretty lengthy conversation with this regional VP who had been with Valley Crest most of his career, 30 plus years. And I was, I think, my second year in, and I had won Rookie of the Year in business development. So I think that was one of the awards they gave me. They get to sit next to a very senior vice president at the regional level, which meant I think he was in control of the entire Southwest, which I don't know how many millions or could even been $1 billion worth of landscape. But I asked him, I said, how regionally do you compare Valley Crest to the second best competitor? And he said, hands down, Valley Crest is the best in the world at the size that we are. Nobody can do it better relative to the size we are, meaning they had, I think, over 10,000 employees, resources, capital, so forth and so on. But what he then said is, we've got probably a handful to a dozen competitors in my region that can serve their client better and do better work. And that really resonated with me as somebody that comes from a mom and pop really business, growing up through the years and just in my DNA and personality. If I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it half-assed. And inherently, I want to be the best at what I do. And right there, I knew no matter how much I was able to succeed at Valley Crest financially or through my own branch, it was never going to be the long-term place for me, because if someone with that amount of tenure and that amount of rank, so to speak, at the quote-unquote best company in the world said there's better out there, I knew I wanted to be that someone that's better out there. And it took probably all of 2 years and a conversation with my brother, of course, about the idea that I had. And then, of course, a conversation with his wife at the time, Jess, because, I think I was 35 at the time. That puts Brian 29. I'm not sure even if Luke was born or that's his second child or was in diapers for sure. It was a risky move, I would say, more so for Brian and Jess than myself, who wasn't married. So we got our first sale there. We got her to check off. And then that's when we took over the garden center location next to the small Publix off of Beach Boulevard. And that year we started off, that was Christmas. And I think we ordered 400 Christmas trees, and we didn't quite know how the market worked down in the South. And we got them the Monday after Thanksgiving. And I think it started raining on Tuesday, and I don't think it stopped for another 10 days. Long and the short, I think we recycled 200 of the 400 trees. So welcome to business with being in debt. And I think that was 2008. So the economy, you know, you're 35 and you got a vision, and no one's going to stop you. The economy wasn't the best, but of course we didn't have any numbers to go up against, so we could go nowhere but up. And you know that Brian left Valley Crest that spring. He was account manager at the time, and he started with one employee, Claire. We had one red chair, so we called her Claire in the red chair, and that's how we started. I think I stayed on double dipping, if you will, or burning the candle at both ends for 3 or 4 years to help get things started. But you know that I think handles the why. That's how it got started. Just an inherent burning desire to, if we're going to be in the game, let's be the best in the game. Not just with client satisfaction, but I think we wanted to make sure that our team was better taken care of than a company. Like I said at the time, Valley Crest, you know, you get to be that big and there's efficiencies and there's resources available, but we knew that you tend to become a number there, and there's a lot of justification and power to that and resource, and certainly not knocking that, but we wanted to be able to treat our team first and foremost, the best in the industry, and we wanted to be able to, when it was all said and done, provide the best service that we could, and felt like with our upbringing from our parents, even before the original Rockaway 19 Garden Center in 1981, you know, we were selling Christmas trees since we were conceived, basically. So, you know, born and bred to be in the green industry, I say often, but even deeper than that, not just in the landscape business, I think just instilled in us both is, you know, if you're going to do it, don't do it half-assed. And that's where we're at. I think you could say a lot about Rockaway, but not too often does anybody say it's half-assed. And I think you got to bust your ass to do that. You know, you look on any of our walls and we talk about the 5 R's: do the right thing for the right person at the right time. We don't get it right every time, but we make it right every time. Nothing really to do with landscape, but it goes back to the why. If you're going to be in a game, let's do it with integrity. Let's do it the right way. And certainly didn't mean to get choked up, but you know, as you're in it, that's just, you're either born with that or you're not, you know. And my parents are getting up there in age, and God bless them, they're still at the tree lot day in and day out. But I don't know if my father ever said that to me, don't do it half-assed, but damn if he didn't instill it in the both of us. And even more so than that, I don't think, you know, in those days you had the tools or the technology and the speed that you do now, but there was a right way to do things and a wrong way, and most importantly, there was a right way to treat a person and a wrong way. That's it. You know, I'm proud of that, and I don't know that Brian and I get it right all the time, or we as a company get it right every time, but I could say we intentionally try our best to make it right for everybody every time. And if I died tomorrow, I'd have a smile on my face, because you give a lot to earn that right, but nobody's ever going to take that away from us. And we probably lost a lot of business, millions, in fact, because of the integrity factor. We're going to do the right thing for the right person at the right time. And what that inherently means, we're going to build a team that could do the work that we're selling before we sell work and then figure out how to do that. And quite frankly, that was the defining moment of, at the soul level, why I knew I had to leave Valley Crest, because nothing against them when you're a really good salesperson, and I see it really well right now, 15 or 16 years later. Not so much, at the Valley Crest level, but even at the private equity level. I heard a statistic the other day, 34 or 36% of America's small business are now owned by private equity. And, it just changes the dynamic when you're really being judged on the bottom line. The bottom line is equally important to Rockaway. We need profit, we need growth. We have a lot of families to feed now. Over in season 85 next year, will be probably 100 families, not just team members, and that's really important. But doing that right thing for the right person at the right time, it's just a way that we're always going to do business, and we're proud of doing business that way. And what it says to our team, and every month we started a really nice meeting. It's a safety meeting, but we go over birthdays and we also go over anniversaries, and it really touches me. We've got some people. Tim, I think, is 15 years, and then we've got a whole slew of people, 8, 9, 10 years. And that, in any business now, let alone the landscape business, where we literally bust ass, especially here in Florida. If we're part of a peer group, and in Chicago, if they get 98 and it feels like 105, it's mandatory outdoor workers don't work, right? Or it's a half day. They're on restrictions, so to speak. And Brian and I and whoever else is talking to our peers, kind of chuckle, because there's probably damn near 90 days that go by every summer that our team comes in with a smile, and most importantly goes home with a smile. Not all of us, not every day, but I'm proud to say the majority of the time. And that's just a testament to doing the right thing for the right person at the right time. I think that culture is really what separates us from, whether it be the Bright Views or our competition. And I don't really consider it a competition. I think we work hard every day to better each other, better the industry, and make sure that we're proud and honored to serve our clients. It's as simple as that. So it's just an honor to be part of it. And hell, is a lot harder than I ever thought it would be. I thought we would be twice as big as this time in half the amount of time. And the amount that you have to give up on a personal level. I remember a time when we couldn't cover payroll for a couple periods of time, and at the same time, my AC went out, and it was the middle of the summer, and that was just the sacrifices that you make to get to this point. But I think now I'm afforded the opportunity to probably be in the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, because of not only the field crew, but the executive team that we've built and continue to build. The same can go for my brother, but I think that's what we're after. We're after not only to service our clients, but to make each of us better in our career path and better as people. And I've been blessed to go to a lot of training, world-class training, in fact, starting with Valley Crest and Tony Robbins, and other, really expensive and prestigious learning seminars, if you will, but hands down where I learned the most from is each and every one of our team, and having really difficult conversations. What can I do better? What can we do better? That's where you learn the most. So maybe we're behind Greg's mental schedule in where we should be dollars or profit, but hell, I wouldn't trade it. And I'm proud of my brother, proud of our team, proud of myself, and lucky enough to still have parents who are afforded the opportunity to see it. Come from a great family like so many of our team do. It makes a big difference, and ultimately we're forming a team that spends a lot of time together, and that's our work family, and I'm blessed to be part of it. And I guess that's the deep why, and maybe it's a little of how, but the when is not as important, because as far as I see it, we've got some goals for the next 5 years, and a lot of people want to buy Rockaway, but I'm here to tell you Rockaway is not even entertaining any offer. We're not for sale. We're hopeful that we're gonna turn it into an employee-owned company. I can't speak of the future, but I know right now 100% it's not for sale. I think it's a really good story that is progressively getting better. And like I said, it's a really proud moment to even verbalize, and I haven't thought about it to this level. Every morning, like I said, I do think of it, but a lot has went into it, and a lot of people, whether they're still with Rockaway or not, we try never to burn a bridge, whether it be a client or a past employee. It's amazing how many eyes and ears and minds have went into where we're at. And I'm 51 this year, like I said, in the best shape and mentally and physically. I honestly think we're just freaking getting started. I think we've got so much momentum going, and we've got such a culture built and so many resources behind us. It's a great place to work, and yes, work does not have to suck. So couldn't be more proud and couldn't be more thankful, and also couldn't be more excited for what's still to come, not just with the quality of work, but the lives that we're going to help each other improve, as well as our families. So tremendous upside coming forward. And with pain, there's always grace, and there's always beauty. And I think the beauty and the grace and the excitement is just getting started. So, Heather, I hope that answers your question.